We have risen from the ashes to school the masses. Hello, everyone. Welcome to another edition of the Scholars Wrestling Show, episode 469. Nice. I'm your man behind the microphone, Scholar Jeff. Joining us this week, as always, he is the Scholars of Wrestling World Champion, the OG Undisputed Scholar himself. He is Scholar Tarek. Scholar Tarek, how's life treating you this fine evening, sir?
All I need to ask you, gentlemen, is if you guys are really us, what number are we thinking of?
69, dudes.
Whoa.
Whoa.
And shame on everyone else not saying it too. Come on.
Some
You
kids
should
just
know
don't
better.
understand the
Sorry,
classics.
I'm a classy guy. I
Brian,
don't.
from what you've said on this show, you are anything but classy.
And with that, also joining us this week clearly is Scholar Brian. Scholar Brian, why on earth haven't you seen the Bill and Ted movies?
I have. I'm just not thinking about them right now. I'm thinking about the possibility of grabbing onto that briefcase and screwing over the champion for the third time.
Uh,
Brian, with all we do as the undisputed scholars, we can screw each other as much as we want, and all we can do is just shake each other's hands and just say, "Please, sir, I want some more."
kids, I'm not sure if you noticed this, but you need to be on your best behavior tonight because today we have a special guest, our friend from the world of improv gaming, our man Pete. Pete, thank you for joining us on the show this evening.
Thank you guys for having me. What a show to come on, 469, no pun intended there. But well, let's
Plenty
talk
of
why
puns,
I'm
sir.
really here. I'm getting frustrated because I hear Scholar Brian be talking this. I'm going to win the beefcase for the third year. Like it's a guarantee. Let me tell you something, buddy. There ain't no guarantees here. And then let me tell you something else. I have a beef with a Mr. Jeremy because you know what? He hasn't won the belt. So maybe I got to do the world justice by becoming with the beef case, cashing in and becoming an official scholar with the world title.
He
A
wants a shot
very
at Goldie,
bold
gentlemen.
assertion.
He
A
wants.
very
Oh,
bold
look,
assertion.
look at this
I
man.
mean,
15 seconds in, and he's already talking smack. I like it.
let me tell
He's
you,
coming in swinging.
I'm going to have a great card. I may even have a perfect card, gentlemen. Let me just tell you that, yeah, it's coming.
I enjoy the confidence, but
Yes.
there's a hell of a rock at the top of that mountain, and you're gonna have to bust it open. You're gonna have to beat me, and that's not very easy to do. Everybody on this panel can tell you that.
I'll tell you what, this is already shaping up to be quite the exciting prediction show for Money in the Bank. But before we get started with the official predictions, Tarek, can you please give us a brief rundown of who's eligible for the Money in the Bank briefcase this year?
I'll tell you who's not eligible for the Scholar in the Bank briefcase, and that is my challenger for Goldie here, the Scholars of Wrestling World Heavyweight Championship, Scholar Charlie, which is such a relief for many reasons. Just for the scholars on this panel know when it comes to him having the briefcase 2 years in a row, uh-uh, as much as I would enjoy facing any of you gentlemen, I'm very much relieved that it's Scholar Charlie. But when it comes to the Scholar in the Bank briefcase, you got everyone else on this panel and Scholar Jeremy on the board going, reaching, because we don't really actually hang it up, so we can't really use a ladder. But still, metaphorically, reaching, reaching. Could I get the briefcase? I want the briefcase. Give me the briefcase. I need the briefcase in order to cash in to get this beautiful belt. And
Because
now,
we also have to remember, as Pete is a guest, we also have someone on this panel who has never won the briefcase before, and this is his opportunity to do so. So there is history could be made tonight.
History could be made. It could be first time ever Scholar Jeff. It could be first time ever Scholar Jeremy. It could be man trying to become Scholar Pete. And
Will become all
and the
confidence
biggest
over here.
and the
just
biggest
be-
threat to
it
all
could-
of you, the biggest threat to all of you is my undisputed scholar brother, Scholar Brian. He's the obstacle you have to get in order to win the beefcase and have a chance of taking Goldie here.
And I know why Pete really wanted to come on this panel, because he was there. He saw the glory in my eyes as I won the beefcase and as I cashed in the beefcase on Scholar Charlie during that one match, and Charlie held the title for approximately, what was it, 5 minutes?
Not even it was
That's that. I was going to
5
say, I
minutes.
think it was like 3.5 minutes, and it was.
And he watched as I send that glorious text saying, "Hey, congratulations, Charlie, on winning the title. I'll take that now." He wants some of that glory too, and I respect it. That's why I gave the consent for him to join this evening.
I'll tell you what, this one show, Money in the Bank, is going down in Scholars history as probably one of the more exciting shows and prediction shows to be a part of. So, Pete, first of all, we're very glad to have you with us this time around. And with that, gentlemen, shall we get on with the predictions?
Let's get it out.
Go.
Let's get on. All right. Starting us off is going to be the first match on the card. We've got a 6-man tag match. We've got Cody Rhodes, Randy Orton, and Kevin Owens taking on some 3 members of the Bloodline, yet to be determined. As this is the first prediction of the evening, we do have the champs gets first pick or first refusal. So, Champ, would you like to make the first pick, or are you going to defer to the next person in the order?
I'm going to defer because I want to hear everyone's explanation and see where it leads my decision. Because I will say, I do have some questions about it. Not all of them are like not as much. It's like there are questions, there are some decisions. I just want to hear everyone else's perspective to see if it'll actually change my mind on something.
Very
I want to
good.
hear everyone's arguments.
Very good. In that case, the next person in order will be Scholar Brian. It's your first pick of the evening. Which way you going?
No matter who is in the match for the Bloodline, I'm picking the Bloodline. Because first of all, if Jacob Fatu's in that match, it's game over. That's it. It's game over. You're not having him lose right away. But here's my main thing. Okay, I don't think Roman Reigns is coming back at Money in the Bank, but you are going to start setting up something for SummerSlam with the Bloodline story and setting up good Bloodline versus bad Bloodline. And you can't do that if the bad Bloodline it has a loss on their record. It makes no sense to me. And also, the moment Randy Orton said we're gonna end the Bloodline once and for all on a random pay-per-view in July, that was the moment I knew that they had no chance. I think that Randy Orton is more fixated on Cody Rhodes' title, and I think that's going to lead to Kevin Owens taking the pinfall from Solo Sikoa and to begin, and then they can start to begin the rollout to Roman Reigns versus Solo Sikoa.
All right, very good. I am going to join you on that prediction. I'm also going to pick the Bloodline here. just because it seems like this is one of those instances where really they need it more. They're adding all of these brand new Samoans. This is going to be just the right format, I guess you'll say, to really show off the current power and strength in a post Roman Reigns bloodline. Now that it seems like this new version, Solo's bloodline, is as bad as full strength as it's going to get, they really need to show something here. I'm expecting them to pull out all of the dirty tricks and all of the dirty stops. Everything stops here. Plus, let's be real, at this point, Cody Rhodes doesn't really have anything to prove. Randy doesn't have anything to prove. Kevin Owens has other things on his mind in real life right now, so all signs point to a bloodline victory tonight. With that, it is now time for a little bit of Scholars of Wrestling history. And Pete, it is your first prediction on the show. Which way are you going, between the bloodline or the team of Cody, Randy, and Kevin?
Well, let me tell you, gentlemen, something that you're going to see a very big theme of my predictions. What has WWE been these last 6 months? Entertaining, bringing us back to a time near as great as the Attitude Era. And I know that sounds crazy, but everything going is hitting, everything is right. So what is tonight's event going to be? Highs and lows. And of course, the Bloodline's going to win it because it is fresh. It is new. This is post-Roman Reigns, like Scholar Jeff said. But the difference is we need to make you look stronger. We need you to be better. Solo's pinning Cody Rhodes tonight.
Oh,
And
going
I
big.
think because how else do you set the mark? I mean, let's take the facts like you gentlemen brought up. Kevin's got things going on in his personal. Why are you gonna do him dirty like that? You got Randy Orton. You already know what the plan is for Randy Orton down the line with the title. You just sense it. How much of an impact could it be? Cody Rhodes, the gold standard since Roman left, to take a pin from Solo, who he's had problems with in the past, to build to that match, thus beginning the sadness of an event that will bring our hearts and our minds on a roller coaster. That is my first prediction, gentlemen.
All right. Very well done. And with that, Tarek, it's your final pick for this match. Which way you going and what's your rationale?
I do see where Pete is coming from with just the headline idea of Solo Sikoa pinning Cody Rhodes to basically earn him a title shot at SummerSlam. I completely understand that. For me personally, I just don't think, as good as it is for Solo, I don't know if I want to. I just don't know if I want Cody to be pinned, because I just feel like Cody is in a position where, like, I don't think it's gonna necessarily hurt him if he gets pinned, but I just don't see them actually I don't see them really doing that. I mean, it is possible. It's a like I said, good headline for the review of the show. But if anything, it's like what Brian said. It depends on which bloodline member, or it was what Jeff said, actually, excuse me, which 3 bloodline members are going to be in this match. I think they're saving Jacob Fatu's in-ring debut for a one-on-one match, just for his capabilities. I think you would want to show that off in a singles match more so than a multi-man match. So yeah, I think it will be Solo Sikoa, Tungalao, and Tunga. What's the name of the third one?
Tamatonga?
Tamatonga. Thank you. I was like, I know it's a Tamatonga, but that doesn't mean I don't see Jacob Fatu getting involved in this one. He's gonna basically, because it's a multi-man match, just because it's most likely a no DQ. I don't see well, even if it is DQ, the referee could be taken out. I don't see Cody being pinned. I see Solo taking out Cody, spear through the barricade, if anything. And you can set up that possible singles feud with him either taking out Orton or Kevin Owens, which I do agree with Brian. It's going to be Kevin Owens getting the pin because he's the one that really can afford to take the pin, if that's a good way of putting it. And especially with Randy Orton eyeing for the World Heavyweight for the WWE Championship. Yeah, you don't want him getting pinned either. So unfortunately, I see KO getting the pin on this one, and then he'll get redeemed when it's him and Randy Orton versus Tama Tonga and Tonga Lao at SummerSlam. For that, yeah, I'm also going to go with the Bloodline picking up the victory because it's for the storyline purposes to really work on the threat of Bloodline 2.0 that will eventually lead to Bloodline Civil War at Survivor Series. Yeah, the Bloodline takes the win, and it will lead to their plants will be planted. The seeds will be planted for the Solo Cody Rhodes in this one.
All right, very good. That will move us on to our next match on the card. That would be for the Intercontinental Championship. We've got the champion, Sami Zayn, defending his title against Braun Breaker. Now, my pick up next, so I'm just going to come right out and say it. This is probably going to be one of the tougher ones to call. That's not a Money in the Bank match for me.
This is the hardest one for me.
As much, and really, Braun Breaker has been on such a roll. Like, he's just I was not expecting to be this impressed by Braun Breaker's presentation. I'll be fully honest with you, but I'm kind of digging this. That being said, I feel like I'm not sure if they're going to have him beat Sami Zayn, at least not tonight. Maybe further on down the road, I can see them making more of a pomp and circumstance about this. But I could also see a strong case could be made for Braun Breaker to take it tonight also. This could go either way. But if I had to pick anything, again, now is the time for guns to the head and making a pick definitively on this night. I'm going to go with Sami Zayn to retain. I am not going to rule out a gigantic ass kicking after the match, or maybe something that leads to a disqualification, so that Sammy only technically wins, but he just has to be carried out on a stretcher or something. But at the end of the day, I think the result is going to be the same. I think Sammy is going to walk or crawl out or be stretchered out with the title still in his possession. I'm going to go for a Sami Zayn victory, technical or otherwise. That will bring us to the next person on the line. That would be Pete. Who do you got between Sami Zayn or Braun Breaker for the Intercontinental title?
Well, let me tell you, as I'm climbing up this ladder towards the beefcase, because we all know I'm winning it tonight, just letting you know that's a spoiler, ladies and gentlemen. Let's talk about this match. Scholar Jeff, you brought it up perfectly. It's all about emotion, guys. And who brings the emotion but Sami Zayn? You feel for the guy, you feel for him. But who is this unstoppable Brock Lesnar type guy who's coming up, who I'm hearing is coming up, and just watching this destruction and seeing this guy and going, oh, this is something I haven't seen in many, many years. But we can't have Sammy lose. We can't have the people feel that. So yes, of course it's going to be a disqualification match. He's going to get disqualified because Braun's going to lose it, because the heart of Sami Zayn is going to burn through, and the fans are going to believe, and Braun is going to lose it somehow, some way, DQ, and it's going to make Braun not look weak because Braun is taking the belt at SummerSlam. Let Sammy have this win, even though, like Scholar Jeff said, it's probably going to be to a one-way trip to the hospital, because let's make the people feel that their hometown guy is still champion, but he's beating his best heartbeat. Thank you, gentlemen. That is my prediction.
All right, very good stuff. Tarek, it's your turn next. So you got between Sammy and Braun.
I just love like when Pete is going on and just watching you and Brian just like glow because you're just loving his presentation on his predictions.
We love the bands.
Bring it, gentlemen.
We love the bands.
I do. It is fun, but yeah, I think the part that like it's like I said with your prediction, Jeff. This is the hardest match for me to predict because it really can go either way. For one, because like you said, Braun Breaker is on such a momentum right now. Do you want to risk hurting it for whatever reason? But I think the part that's kind of selling it for me is that closing angle with him holding the championship over his head already. I think that's a sign that because Braun is young, because he's so overconfident, it's basically going to be Sammy's going to use that against him. It's going to be a massacre. Braun is going to destroy Sami Zayn in this match. And I think it's going to be one of those things where Sammy's going to use his momentum against him. The big thing that they're pushing with Braun Breaker is just how fast he is, his speed. And I think they're going to have that be a factor where Braun is going to finish off Zayn while he's in the turnbuckle, and Braun will try and spear him. Sammy moves, and it's because Braun is so fast, the momentum is going to hit even harder. He's going to hit the head on the post, not the turnbuckle, but the post. It's going to woozy him out. He'll run into a haluva kick, and Sammy will win 1, 2, 3. I'm picking Sami Zayn to win.
All right. And with that, Brian, it's your final pick for this match. Do we have an accord, sir?
I thought there was going to be more dissension in the ranks about this match, because we do have a consensus, basically based off of what Tarek said. I was all on the Braun Breaker train, and then he full manhandled the championship on Raw. And as things go in both companies, the person, if you hold the title before the pay-per-view, you don't win the title. Just look at Will Ospreay last week. Mm-hmm. So it's like I see the same thing happening here, and really, I can go based on Tarek's premise more than I can the disqualification premise, because I think Braun Breaker can get his heat back after the match, whether he gets pinned or not. Because I think either way, we're having to beat down at the end. Either way, that's happening. But I see Tarek's premise more where he gets his speed used against him. He rams into the post. I think it takes more than one haluva kick. I can see maybe 2 or 3 in succession. The way he did it against Gunther, I can see that happening. Like, didn't he hit like 3 or 4 haluva kicks in a row on Gunther? I can see the same thing happening to Braun Breaker. And if you really want to play up the beast mode, you can have him like kick out like right after the 3 count on the last haluva kick. That way the beatdown afterwards makes more sense because he's not woozy from the kicks.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he just barely got the 3 count, and now he's gonna pay.
What about the possibility of a roll-up?
You can do that too, but I think that hurts Braun more than 4 haluva kicks. You
All
could
right.
you could do the roll up, but I don't. It's my personal preference that I don't like the surprise roll up finish. Just like Simon Miller, I do not like the most dangerous finishing move in all of sports entertainment, the surprise roll up.
Regardless, it sounds like we're all in agreement of like who the eventual winner is going to be. So hey, I was not expecting a consensus here, but
Yes.
that's the way it rolls sometimes.
By the
One
end of
thing
the summer, Braun Breaker will be champion. I just don't think it's now.
he
It's
does
SummerSlam.
deserve to win it on a bigger stage, but the difference between Vince McMahon and Triple H is Triple H likes to let his the hometown heroes win, even if it is
Totally
at the
different
cost of
vibe.
him getting a beat down afterwards. Get both love and heat.
Indeed. With that, we're moving on to our next match, which is for the World Heavyweight Championship. We've got Damian Priest defending his title against Seth Rollins in what is apparently a last chance match, where if Seth Rollins loses this match, he cannot challenge Damian Priest for the title again. And with that, Pete, it's your first pick up next. Who do you got between Damian Priest and Seth Rollins?
Now, I feel, is it crazy to say that this is going to be the last match on the show?
It is speculated to be main eventing the show, yes.
So going with that of my original thing in the beginning of the show, it's all about emotion. So I'll get into my money in the bank, obviously, when we get there. But we're going to be talking about emotion here. And what bigger emotion than seeing Seth freaking Rollins win the title back because of craziness that we've been seeing with the Judgment Day. Craziness where you, again, or WWE, you want to put on a show, and the better show at SummerSlam is obviously Rollins versus Gunther. Priest, you had your time as champion since Mania. We loved you. You've been doing great for us. But the thing is, with the Judgment Day stirring, with the Finn clearly him and Finn going to throw down, it is the perfect chance where it's that last chance for Seth Rollins. And then what do you hear? You hear music go off because a certain individual comes down. And I just feel like it all matches where Seth freaking Rollins has to walk out of this match as the champion because it just makes sense to give everybody that feel good moment at the end of the show.
Very interesting. Tarek, it's your pick up next. Who do you got between Priest and Rollins?
This really is a very fascinating one because you left out the fact that it not only like we have, yes, Seth Rollins loses, he can't go after the title as long as Priest is champion, but you also have that storyline factor if Damian Priest loses, he's out of the Judgment Day. And I think they're using that as I'm trying to find the right word for that, as just the setting up point, a red herring, yeah, to set up for Finn Balor versus Damian Priest at SummerSlam. I think we're gonna be led to believe that he does show up. Priest tells him, do not help me. I don't want your help. And Finn Balor is gonna come down anyway. But it's gonna be the ploy that we all thought about when Dom was trying to help Becky Lynch beat Liv Morgan for the women's world title. Finn's going to make it look like he's trying to help Damian Priest, and that's going to cost Priest the title. I'm going to go with Seth Rollins to win the match. And it's going to, for when it comes to Damian Priest, we're going to get the storyline reveal that Finn was actually the one who's making sure that Damian Priest is out of Judgment Day. He's going to make the call for it, for Damian Priest to be kicked out of Judgment Day. And when it comes to Seth Rollins winning the championship, I honestly prefer Seth Rollins versus Gunther for the World Heavyweight Championship match at SummerSlam. That's a bigger draw in my opinion, than having Gunther versus Damian Priest. I like Damian Priest. I'm not a big fan of his title reign, and I just wanted to end here and give us an actual World Heavyweight Championship match for SummerSlam worthy of Gunther's time, and no better person than Seth freaking Rollins for me.
Making the King of the Ring mean something with Gunther as for the SummerSlam with Seth Rollins. I agree. I agree 100% with you, champ.
Mm-hmm.
Very interesting. Brian, it's your pick up next. Who do you got?
Finally, some dissension.
I knew it. I knew it.
Because here's the deal. Seth Rollins versus Gunther is a money match. It is probably the match that most people would want but here's the deal. Okay. Seth Rollins is not a transitional champion. That's just not. I do not want Seth Rollins to win the title and hold it for a month. That is not the best way for it's the best possible match for Gunther to win the title. I don't think him beating a transitional champion is the best way for him to win the title, if that makes sense. It's the best possible working match. He shouldn't win it from a transitional champion. He should win it from a guy who's had the title for a bit. I think that these specific stipulations are an actual red herring. I don't think the Judgment Day split is happening yet. It's close, but I don't think it's happening yet. This also goes into my Money in the Bank prediction for later on, because I know it's going to be different from Pete's just going off what he just said. but I think that there's something to play around with the premise that Tarek gave, where Finn Balor does come down anyway, and he does something that could cost Damian, but it doesn't cost Damian. And then you have Damian Priest with the thoughts in his head, like, did this guy just really try to fuck me out of my title and my place in the group, instead of it just coming, instead of it just happening? I think there's a little bit more rope to go in this storyline, and I think Gunther winning the title will be better off of a long-term champion instead of a traditional champion. So I'm going to go the opposing way and go Damian Priest to retain.
Very interesting. That being said, I'm also going to join you on that. I think he's going to. I think Damian Priest is definitely going to retain, just because if you're going to be breaking up a notable faction like the Judgment Day in any capacity, especially one of the OG members, I feel like it needs to be a slower burn and a bigger deal. And I just don't see it happening on this particular night. And that's the biggest reason why I'm also going to go with Damian Priest to retain. Will there probably be a cash-in afterwards? Very possibly. But as far as this particular match, I just don't see him losing Seth in this particular match. But now, with all that out of the way, now we're getting into the interesting picks. Now we're going to be going into the Money in the Bank matches themselves. Now, to prime all of us here who are present, and everyone who is listening on their devices at home, this is the way we're going to do it. We're going to be predicting the winners of each individual match as usual, but for extra points, immediately after making our pick by choice, we are going to make our picks by chance. That's right. We've got a random wheel of names, and then immediately after making your decisive pick, Each individual participant is going to be assigned a random wrestler in the match. If that wrestler gets picked and they win the match, well, that's just an extra point for that player. With that being said, Tarek, is your first pick for the women's Money in the Bank match. For your participants are Io Sky, Chelsea Green, Lyra Valkyria, Tiffany Stratton, Naomi, and Zoe Stark. Tarek, it's your pick up first. Who do you got for the women's Money in the Bank match?
Tiffany Stratton. I don't really have any real long-winded discussion. She's the one that I feel is the best choice in the women's match for this one. And I kind of like that it's the idea of her and Nia Jax being a team, and she's with Nia Jax going for the women's title, and you have the Miss Money in the Bank, who says she's your friend, but does the briefcase, it's not the briefcase, we have the briefcase. Does the briefcase put a little wedge between them? I like that idea. So I'm going to go with Tiffany Stratton. I guess I did have a long-winded rant on why I picked Tiffany Stratton.
I wouldn't call it long-winded, just more expanded, I guess.
Okay.
But either way, however you want to put it, now is the time for your first random pick of the evening. So let's
wait before you. Oh, okay, never mind.
No, Tarek, the reason we're gonna do that is because it's 6 names. We're just gonna take it off the board.
Okay.
And your first pick is Zoe Stark for your random.
So it's not even good. It doesn't matter anyway, because there's no way Zoe's winning.
With the power of positivity, anything is possible. Just wait for
it is.
I just don't see the reason having me and Charlie in the wheel when I feel like that with the Money in the Bank matches should be just mainly focused for the people going for the briefcase.
It is, but that also eliminates picks and it keeps it fair for everybody. And if nothing else, we can still play for fun for points.
Okay. You know what?
Plus, again, we've got 6 scholars on the board for a change, and we've got 6 participants in the match, so it all evens out either way. That being said, Brian, it's now through. Yeah, sometimes things just work out. And speaking of working out, Brian, it's your pick up next. Who are you going?
Yeah, as much as I think that it would be really fun and funny if Chelsea Green were to win this just because of the character, I said funny.
Brian,
I was picking it.
If she's there for comedy's sake in the match, I don't want her to win just for the sole fact that she said if she wins it, she will bring back the Divas Championship. That made it even worse. Absolutely not. Don't bring back that godforsaken title.
Well, it's a good thing you're not making the pick now, are you? but guess what? Neither am I. So it's all good. I just had to say because I knew it would make him rage out. and he performed.
You don't want the Divas title back as much as I do.
And he performed to the highest extent of my enjoyment. That's it. But yeah, it's
Undisputed Scholars for life, Brian. I love you too.
But yeah, out of everybody in this match, it's Tiffany Stratton. And they're already starting to play it up in the storyline because it's Nia Jax versus Bayley at SummerSlam based off of the Queen of the Ring. But great time for a cash in. Bayley just barely ekes one out over Nia Jax. Nia Jax destroys her. Here comes Tiffy time. And that's where I based my next 2 months of predictions right off of this result right here. But yeah, it's
so you're making the call that it's a cash. You're making the call that it's a cash in at SummerSlam.
Yes.
All right, so mark that down. That's his one. That's his cash in prediction. For Pete and the audience, each of us get a prediction. Each of us get a prediction on when the cash in is going to happen. And everybody gets one. So that was Brian's one.
Considering the amount of times that we lost on Damian Priest last year, I'm going to get mine out of the way real quick. But yeah, it's Tiffany Stratton. She's the only one that really makes sense. Naomi would be a nice story, but based off of storyline and ability right now and something that would make storyline sense, it's Tiffany Stratton all day.
And with that, let's go to the Wheel of Randoms Superstars. Wheel of Random
I said all
Wrestlers.
that
Spin,
shit,
spin,
and I'm gonna
spin.
get
Tell us the
Naomi.
wrestler that really should win. And your random pick is Tiffany Stratton. You got double Tiffy time.
Yeah, see, it's just
Give it to me. Give it to me. Oh, you're in trouble, Pete.
Pete, Brian wants you to give it to him.
And with that,
There's still the men's
yeah.
one. Don't worry, gentlemen. There's still the men's one.
Yeah, I'm gonna go
Yeah.
with Tiff. I'm also gonna go with Tiffany Stratton to win. It's some picks are just obvious, so yeah, I'm just gonna go with that. And now I want to spin the wheel too. Give me someone good. Spin, blah 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 blah. Give me something good. And my pick is Lyra Valkyria.
Ooh.
I can see her actually, in all seriousness, I can see
Dark
her
horse.
being very plausible. Yeah, she's absolutely a dark horse pick.
She's definitely the number 2. Yeah.
I will gladly take a number 2 any day of the week.
That's good for your colon.
It is indeed good for my colon. And because we are now, I'm going to defer to the senior scholars in the room. We do have Charlie and Jeremy on the board. Do we want to go in sequence here, in the regular sequence, and pick their names in sequence before we get to Pete? Or which way we going?
I think we go present.
I think we go present too.
Scholar presence? Okay. In that case, the order will be Pete, Charlie, and Jeremy in terms of random picks. So with that, Pete, you are present. Make your pick.
Well, let me tell you what's going to happen in this match because you're not going to believe it. But look to the skies because Sky is not winning. Naomi, that's a possibility. No, it's not. You're there to show off. Let's talk about what we talked about before. Gentlemen, this is all about the emotion. Triple H is all about that hometown hero. And let's bring in Big Tiff in Toronto. You get the double T's and the win for Miss Tiffany Stratton is my final answer.
All right. That is your final answer. But now let's go for your random answer. We are spinning. We are winning.
Give me Naomi. Give me Naomi. Naomi.
Who are you going to wind up with? You have
Chelsea Green.
No, I'll take that. I'll take that. Listen,
Chelsea Green.
I'm coming, Scott.
If he can't get the point, he could have some comedy.
That will be
the Rumble where I had Santino and Santino came in and he lasted, I don't know, 4 seconds.
That was a great year for wrestling. But anyway, now is the random picks for first up, Scholar Charlie between Io Sky and Naomi.
I'm gonna say Naomi. Oh,
we're spinning. We're spinning.
Naomi.
All right. With that, Charlie, you get Naomi as your random pick.
As your no.
And that means Io Sky is going to Scholar Jeremy. Sure, you can appreciate that.
Mm-hmm.
And with that, now we are moving on to our final match of the evening. We have the men's Money in the Bank match. We've got the competitors are Jey Uso, Carmelo Hayes, Andrade, Chad Gable, LA Knight, and then Drew McIntyre. Brian, it's your final pick of the evening. Which way are you going on this?
Here's the deal. I know the obvious pick with everything going on and everything that's been said and all that is Drew McIntyre because of the potential shenanigans with CM Punk, wherever that could be. But I personally don't want the rumored passion fail to happen same night, that kind of deal. So I'm going to go in a different direction. I'm going to have CM Punk actually screw Drew McIntyre in the match itself. and take him out. Chad Gable is already, he's locked into that Wyatt 6 deal, so that's probably going to take him out. I don't know how popular this pick is going to be, but I'm going to go to the land of Yeet.
Oh.
That's it.
I
I was expecting more elaboration about that.
No,
Like,
I'm
go
going to go to the
on.
land of Yeet because with the big storyline, I, I, I like having the briefcase in like major storylines. Okay, that's why I was okay with Damian Priest holding it for 9 months last year, because he was in a prime storyline, the Judgment Day, the entire time that they were holding it. If you're not going to go the obvious route, because we already have a Money in the Bank ladder match that's going to be completely obvious with Tiffany Stratton. If you want to do it twice, I don't think doing it twice is the right move. Drew, and they've been they've been nailing it on the head with Drew McIntyre saying he's going to win and walk out world heavyweight champion. So I'm like, I don't even want him to win. And if Chad Gable is not going to be able to do it because he's in the Wyatt 6 storyline, the only person who really deserves it for me is the second most popular guy in the company, based off of fan reaction. Okay, can you imagine this crowd going absolutely fucking nuts when the Yeet King wins, and that celebration that's gotta happen. I It might be out there, but I'd like to see it. I'd like to see it more than a Drew McIntyre win and a failed cash in at the end of the night for the lulz. The amount of times that CM Punk has screwed this guy after winning a title, screwing him after the title, we already had the payback for that. You don't need to do it again. It's overkill at that point. You already have the impetus for CM Punk to come back and have the match at SummerSlam. You can have him screw him out of the actual match itself without killing the Money in the Bank for the year in an hour.
All right. And with that, time for your final random pick of the evening.
I'm gonna laugh if I get a duplicate again.
Who's your random bonus pick? It is going to be LA Knight. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And I also didn't pick LA Knight because he's already got plans for SummerSlam. He's already got storyline plans. He doesn't need it.
I'll tell you what, this one was a very interesting thought process for me, because I'm looking, like we talked about, I'm looking at all these names, and there's a reasonable explanation for a lot of things that may or may not happen. Like we talked about, Drew McIntyre, could he win? Yeah, but there's also a good strong possibility that there's going to be some CM Punk interference. So I don't feel 100% confident with that. It could still happen though. Chad Gable, like we said, else likely going to be some interference from the Wyatt 6. He's going to no chance. Andrade, good showing, but no. Carmelo Hayes doesn't quite have the momentum right now. Maybe in about a year or so. Yeah, but not right now. That leaves us with really two main contenders in my mind. This could go between either Jey Uso or LA Knight.
Yeah.
Yeah, indeed. And really, ordinarily, I would go with LA Knight. But after being at WrestleMania and seeing for myself how over Jey Uso actually is, it's hard not for me to back the guy. So I'm also going to go with Jey Uso to win this. Don't know when he's going to cash it in exactly, but he just to have him bopping around with the briefcase, that is marketable as heck. Plus, they can sell more figures with him with the yeet in the bank, yada yada, boo boo boo. Sell some T-shirts. Everyone goes home happy. Has a good time. But yeah, I'm going with Jey Uso to win for my official pick. But now is the time for the random pick. The wheel is spinning. The colors are turning. Which way is going on? Is it going to be? Is it? Is it? And I got Carmelo Hayes. Well, oh well. It was a good shot. With that, Pete, is your final pick of the evening. Which way you going, sir?
Let me talk to you.
Just say it.
I am going to say it. The reason I came on this show was to hope and pray and put forth my AJ Lee love for her to be in the main event. But after you gentlemen talking so beautifully, I have changed my mind, and I'm going to tell you why. We've all talked about moments. We're all talking about what's going to happen, but I'm telling you what's happening because it's all about entertainment. And this is what's going to happen. Let me talk to you. Yeah, you got plans for SummerSlam. You're facing Mr. Paul. You're done, LA Knight. Listen, Scholar Brian, I respect your thoughts. Jimmy is not that guy because of the following. You have Cody being your face. And yes, excuse me, Jay is definitely the hot commodity right now. Who doesn't want to eat and fucking bob and weave? He is an awesome guy. Why are you going to turn him heel? Why are you going to put that shame on him? Chad Gable, you're with, the Wyatts. So let me tell you who's winning because Jeff, I'm very surprised in you, sir. I really thought you were going to go with this pick, but I guess I got to be the guy to stir the pot. Of course, my pick for the Money in the Bank match is Eldrade. Why, you ask? Because what is WWE going to do but make a star? Damian Priest had it for 9 months, and look at the anticipation of him cashing in Money in the Bank. You're telling me a return from a rival company who didn't do him right to give him his moment to become Money in the Bank? Because we know Tiffany's going to win because it's Tiffany in Toronto, baby. And we can't have Triple H be disappointed with the hometown hero. Everybody expects Drew. And I wish, gentlemen, that AJ Lee would come back. You know this. And I would think
that she won't in this match.
But she will, exactly, because
she could be the one to screw him.
But it's to me where this event is all about pushing and making you turn your head and think of something new. I saw all your faces when I said Andrade, because now it's going to be seeped in your minds. Because let me tell you something, Scholar Brian, I'm coming for you.
Oh, he's just signaling you signaling just you.
I'm coming for you next. I'll come for you. I need to get the
all right. Andrade is locked in for your pick, sir.
I'm hanging out at the top of the ladder. Someone's got to join me.
Right.
And what will join you?
For the beefcase. Okay.
You're not. Oh,
we're on top of the mountain.
You're hanging out,
gentlemen.
You're hanging out in the back.
It's time now to make Pete's random pick, who could get him extra points. We're spinning it. We're going. Where is he going?
No whammies. Stop.
No whammies. Who is the whammy going to be? He has Drew McIntyre for his bonus pick.
I'll take that. I'll take that all day, gentlemen. I'll take that all day.
No, nobody's getting doubles. Not on my watch, except for me.
This is very interesting. And Tarek, it's your final pick of the evening. Which way you going?
Well, I'm going to be that asshole. I'm going to say Drew McIntyre is winning it. And we're going to get that failed cash in because I'm saying he's cashing in tonight. I'm putting in my cash in prediction card tonight. I'm perfectly fine not having a men's Money in the Bank for a year. If you're gonna have a long Money in the Bank one, let it be for the women's. We don't need both. We already had an extremely long one with Damian Priest. We can go for a. And Drew even said it himself. Once he wins it, he's gonna cash it in. And I don't care. I don't know if it's gonna be AJ Lee, or CM Punk, but I just think CM Punk's best way to completely continue to screw him over is just keep screwing him for the world title, just to add to that inevitable match for SummerSlam. I'm all for that. I'm throwing my cash in prediction right away.
Yeah.
I'm all
I'm
for it.
saying this. I'm saying this right now. If what you say comes true, and it happens, you cannot start that match at SummerSlam with a tie-up. Drew McIntyre has to be trying to murder this man from the jump at SummerSlam.
I know he doesn't. I know CM Punk doesn't want it, but I do want Drew McIntyre versus CM Punk in a Hell in a Cell.
It's one of those things where if he costs him for the title again, he's got to lose his shit. He's got to be trying to murder this man at every opportunity.
Absolutely, and that's I want to see that so bad because I just love this Drew McIntyre CM Punk feud. I want this to just keep going with just the complete and absolute chaos of this one, and I'm all for that. I don't care. I'm just throwing it right in there right away.
All right. And with that, now the rest of the random picks, starting with Tarek. Your pick for the men's Money in the Bank, the random pick for men's Money in the Bank. The wheel is spinning, the colors are turning.
Take them off the board.
And Tarek got Jey Uso.
Yes.
Okay, so technically I could get a point either way.
Unless LA Knight ends up coming out of nowhere and taking it. So
Yeah.
Or maybe we got Andrade with the dark horse pick. Who knows?
Listen,
anyway,
don't be jealous. Don't be jealous, gentlemen, that I just came up and gave you some
you definitely made an impact on your very first episode, sir.
It definitely made an impact, but I feel like it's gonna drop you to the first rung when you were right. You were right there. You were right there.
I look forward to your text color, Brian, congratulating me.
Either way, before we call it an evening, we still need to make the two final random picks for Scholar Charlie and Scholar Jeremy. So Charlie's up first. We've got we're going to see in just a moment. No, Bob Backlund is never coming back. But for Scholar Charlie, he has Scholar Charlie has Chad Gable.
And Jaybird has El Dandy.
Yes, he has Andrade as his bonus pick. So, hey, maybe the tides can turn in a way that none of us expect. Well, most of us don't expect. Anyway, that is the line and the bracket for this year's Money in the Bank. But now, with those predictions locked in, now is a time where we turn it over to you, our fellow fans. Who's walking away with a briefcase? Who's walking away with a title? And what is going to happen with us here at the Scholars of Wrestling show? Will Pete become a scholar of wrestling? Whatever you think, let us know all across the internet. YouTube comments, Facebook posts, Instagram posts, whatever you got. But especially if you want to join in the conversation on a more personal level, you follow us on Twitter /X/ the Twitter machines. You know where to find us. But in case you don't, if you're joining us for the first time, Scholar Tarek, where can they reach you?
You can reach me wishing everyone who's going for the briefcase a good luck, and I can't wait to see what you guys do at the Avataric. I'm really looking forward to see how this turns out.
I'm getting all choked up already.
Your champion cares.
Excuse me. I'm just can't keep it in. Brian, with that being said, where can they reach you?
You can reach me hanging out at the top of that ladder. Beefcase hanging from my mouth. as I'm kicking Scholar Jeff, Scholar Jeremy, and Scholar Pete down the rungs of the ladder one by
Scholar
one.
Pete is not a person who exists yet.
I'm calling him Scholar because it sounds better when I'm kicking him.
Can't argue with that.
At Atomic Beanpole.
And Mr. Pete, last but not least on our line before me, anyway. Where can they reach you?
Well, when I will be tweeting at my Improv Pete with my beefcase at a Tim Hortons outside Toronto when I win.
You gonna just go all the way to Toronto with the beefcase?
I got
just,
the beefcase.
just
I'm
to
heading
rub
to
it.
Tim Hortons.
Hey, as Lewis Black says, even drunk on a bet, you make it to Canada.
Bravo.
And with that being said, you can also check me out, who is gonna come out with the dark horse picks and is gonna claim that beefcase at I'm Robbie Rage. Join in all the conversations, and for more, all of the relevant social media links and much more, check us out at our link tree at the description box below. That's linktree/Scholars of Wrestling.
Like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Like
all that
video.
good stuff. All those links are there. Check out the link tree. Check out everything that we do, because we're always doing something. But you already knew that because you know who we are. We are the Scholars of Wrestling, and you have just been schooled. You're welcome.
You're welcome.
See you all at
welcome,
Money in the
Pete.
Bank.
Say you're welcome.
You're welcome.
Yay.
Bizarre.
Money in the Bank. Here we go, baby.